Hi there. So I get a lot of questions on the mind. People tell me to explain what the mind is. What is the mind? What is the mind? What is the human mind? Well, this is what the human mind is. Now, I'm going to explain this from there are different ways to look at the mind. There are different perspectives to consider when explaining what the mind is. So I'm going to just pick one of those for the purpose of this particular video and subdivide it into two, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. We are no stranger to the word conscious and subconscious. Now, being conscious means to be fully aware. Being conscious means to be alive to a thing or a knowledge, yeah, to a feeling, yeah. You are alive to it. You are every fiber of your being, knows that that thing is present or that thing is there. Is conscious of it, and that's literally what conscious means. Yeah. So let me just delve into it. The conscious mind and the subconscious mind. So I'm going to make a little difference here. I'm going to give a little difference between them. I'm going to list out some elements of the conscious mind and some elements of the subconscious mind. Under the conscious mind, you have logical thinking, you have critical thinking, you have willpower, you have you have you have short-term memory. Yeah, that's four. Now let me stop there. Let me just do a little breakdown of these things. Logical thinking is logic, a statement that is factually correct, yeah, that is not emotionally backed up, that is not emotionally induced, yeah, a feeling, a thinking that's logical thinking, yeah, a thinking that is that's not that emotion is not attached to it. Now, logical thinking is literally just using your reasoning, using your analytical mind, your analysis to check out an information, and then by that you can arrive at a conclusion. By that you can make a judgment or even make a prediction. And critical thinking, that's even more comprehensive because it breaks it down. It breaks what logical thinking has concluded upon. It breaks it down to check factors that can affect it. It breaks it down to check what could it be that would make this thing to be absolutely true. All things being considered, yeah, it will agree with it. Now, if you consider everything put together, what you are doing in that moment, considering everything put together, is called critical thinking. That you can only do that by your conscious mind. You can't be absent from thinking. Yeah. When you're thinking, you are conscious. When you are thinking, you are conscious. Now, the third one I said is willpower, your ability to choose, your your right to make a decision. Yeah, that when you are doing something, when you are making a decision, yeah, you are conscious to the fact that you are making that decision. You are not absent of, unless you are sleepwalking. Sleepwalking is a subconscious, is a subconscious action, yeah. But anything outside of that, I mean, there could be also other actions that are subconscious. But I'm just trying to say that your conscious steps are the steps that you take when you make use of your willpower. We all have willpower. Everybody has the power to make a decision, to make a choice, to make a will, yeah, for himself, for herself. Yeah, we all possess that as humans. You just have to be a human being with a mind, with a soul, with a spirit to have willpower. You don't have to be anything, yeah. So when you wake up in the morning to wear a white shirt or to wear a black shoe, that's your willpower at play. You are conscious that you are wearing a black shoe. So there's no excuse for saying, I didn't know I wore a black shoe. Of course you knew you wore a black shoe, bro. I didn't know I wore a white shirt. Of course you knew you wore a white shirt. That's incorrect. That's logically incorrect. So judging from the perspective of the logical mind, the conscious mind rather, you can say everything you decide to do consciously, yeah, is your conscious mind at work or at play. The last one is short-term memory. Whatever you remember within the short term, say 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, is because it is still resident in your mind. Let's say the top layer of your mind. It is still there in your mind. It has not gone. There are some things that you are not consciously remembering right now, but it's there when you need it. It's called residual memory. That when you need it, it comes back to you. Say you want to remember an event from 2 years ago, you want to remember an event from 5 years ago, you want to remember a face, a name, someone, an occasion, something that happened, a figure, a number, whatever it is, an experience from the past, not too long ago. That's your conscious mind at work, because you are still very much conscious. In fact, you can remember to the tiny level of the details, and you can remember the tiny details of whatever you're trying to remember. You can remember the color of the clothes you were on when it was happening. It has not been long, that's why you can remember. You see, what we call memory, let me just digress a little. What we call memory is never whole, it's never in a whole, it's always in pieces. You cannot remember everything just as it is. It's not possible for any human being to remember everything as it is in the past. Even what happened this morning, what happened this morning and it's afternoon, you don't have what it takes to remember exactly as your morning went. There are information, there are details that you would not be able to recollect. Now, when you now say your short-term memory is your ability to put some pieces together from what happened in the short term, that's because you are still very much conscious of it. You can remember the food you ate. You can remember how tasty it was. You can remember your whatever experience you had within the short term. The short term is dependent on is contingent on how much of it you took in when it was happening, how much of it you allowed into your mind consciously when it was happening. Some things happened, you were conscious of it when it was happening, but before long you forget because you did not really pay attention to them when it was happening. All right, that's enough. Now let's go to the subconscious mind. Now this one has a lot of elements. Now some of the elements that are contained within the subconscious mind, your beliefs, your habits, your emotions. I'm going to juxtapose emotions and logical thinking when I get there. Your belief, your emotion, your now long-term memory, your creativity. Belief, emotion, long-term memory, creativity. Let me look for one more because I said it's a lot. Habits. I think I mentioned that before. Habits and values. Yeah. Now you see something in the subconscious mind. It contains a lot of information. It's so wide that it can take in a whole lot. For example, you don't know you are capable of something until you begin to do it. Now, when you begin to pull something off, when you begin to do something, and you just see yourself going all the way, it's not because you were conscious of the fact that you could do it. It's just because you had it in you. Yeah, that's an ability stored in your subconscious mind, because ability can be stored in the mind as well, called creativity. You are creative to the level at which your subconscious mind can come to the surface. Yeah, can bail you out. That's where your creativity lies. Now your values is the measure of the measure of your value. Yeah, is what you have retained in your subconscious mind. You know you can't do some things, not because you always remember that I don't want to, but when it's time for that stuff to happen, just remember that this is not something that I do. I don't take drugs. When a drug is presented before me, I don't always have to be walking on the street and be conscious of the fact that I don't take drugs. I just need to see drugs and it will kick back in that, oh, you said you don't take drugs, so okay, now you don't take drugs. So that's where your values are stored. Yeah? Your values are stored in your subconscious mind. Your habits, your character, your personality, well, maybe not personality, but yeah, your character, your tendencies, your habits, they are also in your subconscious mind because you don't always remember. You just see these things playing out. You just see them playing out. As if they are overpowering you, as if you can't control them. No, you can control them, but because you have not brought them to the higher level of your mind. Now, let me just go back a little to say everything that is contained in your conscious mind, they are controllable. You have a hold on them. If you decide, if you choose to do it, you can do it. I'm not motivating you, but if you choose to do it, yeah, if you say you're gonna do it, you can do it. And in your subconscious mind, you don't always have, like, say, you can't force yourself to forget something. For instance, you know a song, you can't force yourself to forget a song that you have always known. It takes time. Sometimes it takes time will just do its thing. Time will do its thing with the intrinsic nature of these things to erase it and eradicate it, to flush it out of your memory. It's called a memory for a reason. Data, information, they are stored on this memory called the subconscious mind. Did I miss anyone out? Long-term memory. Now, I dealt with short-term memory. Now I'm going to talk about long-term memory. Now, long-term memory is if you can remember anything from your primary school and now you're in the university. That's a long. You were not always conscious of what happened. It's plain irrelevant for you to be carrying an information from a primary school about till now. It's just that whenever any situation warrants that you remember something from your primary school days, you remember. That information has always been in you, inside your subconscious mind. That's the lower layer of your mind. Long-term memory. You can remember something from last week that someone else that you were in the same situation together may not be able to remember. It's because your own subconscious mind took in a lot of that information that it will take time for it to go away. Somebody said, I did not even notice. I did not even remember. I can't even remember. You can remember not because you are special. You can remember because when it was happening, you took in a lot of information subconsciously. It goes down, it dissolves into your subconscious mind and it stays there. So when you need to remember something, there you go. There you go with remembering it. There you go with recollecting it easily. And there is one more that I think I've missed out. There are a lot of it. You can call it different names. Intuition. That's another element of the subconscious mind. Yeah. So you can explain the mind using the conscious mind and the subconscious mind narrative, or you can explain using the logical mind that emotion. Yeah. Let me talk about emotion. Emotion is the direct opposite of logic. So if you can understand what logical thinking is, then you can understand what emotion is. Emotion does not consider logic, does not consider facts. Emotion does not care about how true or how not. Emotion bypasses all the steps, just makes a decision based on feeling, based on personality, based on values. Yeah, emotion makes decisions on that. It makes judgment on that. Yeah, emotion, instead of saying I will take a step, do the right thing, emotion would look for a way to key into the human side of the other party, to say you are going to connect to that person emotionally in a way that it will deliver almost the same result as when you go through the logical. Now, emotion is at play when people talk about relationship. When people talk about relationship, that you can use relationship to buy anything. Yeah, that is when emotion is the currency that you are paying, that you can understand somebody's pain, that you can understand somebody's pleasure, that you can understand what somebody is going through and what somebody is not going through, that you can know how to relate with people. That's your emotion at play, not logic, because people don't always seem as they are. Logic will judge a book by its cover. Many times, logic will judge a book by its cover, but emotion will say it may not even be like that. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Now that's the difference between the conscious mind and the emotional mind. Now don't forget, let me list it out again. For the conscious mind, you have the logical thinking, the critical thinking, the willpower, and the short-term memory. While the subconscious mind, you have the values, the habits, the intuition, you have the long-term memory, you have the creativity, you have all of that. And I hope I've been able to explain that to an extent. Yeah, I will make a video, making a proper explanation of the difference between logical thinking and critical thinking. Thank you.